According to studies, your resume gets a 6-second look at the most, 6 seconds. And I would say that of the resumes that I see, perhaps 1% of resumes are actually designed, written in such a way to accomplish that, to facilitate that. It is a reality that you need to get your arms around. And by resume, I'm also talking about the LinkedIn profile, which really is the new resume. So many resumes and many books, many articles have been written about this, but for some reason, people seem to ignore much of the advice. We could do a whole nother webinar on that topic. But you have to start from the point of, I have a few seconds to get the point across that I'm worth investing some time in, and most people fail that test. So that's a harsh reality. When it comes to resumes, when it comes to LinkedIn profiles, I may be a bit old school. I know I'm old school. One typo tells me that this person has had years, decades to get this single document ready, and it's still got typos. It makes no sense in today's day and age. I assume that the resume is the best representation, the best piece of work that someone's ever going to give me. And so I know other people that will look the other way. They don't care about typos or grammar, any of that stuff. When it gets to the executive level and someone has something called a spell checker, I just don't understand it. So giving it to you straight. I mentioned that LinkedIn profiles really are the new resume. Most companies, most headhunters really prefer the LinkedIn profile to the resume for many reasons that are obvious. One of the key reasons, of course, is that I can establish who I know in common with the individual and can do some backdoor reference checking very early on to see if it's worth my time. So it tells me so much more than just a piece of paper, even though it may have the same basic content. But some of the things you really want to think about are discoverability. Think about your resume, your LinkedIn profile amongst 500 million, I think is the number they're up to, something like that. And you're trying to be discovered. You're trying to make it easy for headhunters, CEOs, recruiters to find you. Many LinkedIn profiles aren't written from a point of discoverability. And so they don't return in the search results and you're never discovered. And so that's a really important thing to think about. Again, you can Google and you'll see a ton of work that's been written about how to be discoverable. When it comes to the information on the LinkedIn profile, again, you're getting 6 seconds. And so rather than waste that 6 seconds doing what almost every candidate does, which is including a job description of what they do for a living on every job they've had, instead focus on the accomplishments, the achievements, quantified if possible, that show that you made an impact in that role. I'll say that one more time, it's this important. Instead of a list of bullet points of what the job was, which you can assume most CEOs, headhunters, other executives probably know, unless you had some very arcane kind of role, you can skip all that, make sure the title is clear, and instead focus on the quantifiable achievements. Grew sales by X, reduced same store theft by Y, improved operational efficiency by Z, improved the P&L, you get it. So quantifying is key. The photo is also key. So your LinkedIn profile is an advertisement, and it's kind of shocking to me that this day and age I see photos that are horrific. And so don't ask your spouse or partner to take an iPhone photo of you. Spend a couple $100, get a professional headshot. It should be super zoomed in, and the energy and your smile and that glint in your eye, which in my case I do with Photoshop because I got a face for radio, it makes all the difference in the world. So we talked about LinkedIn profiles. They are crucial.